In class, this is first video lecture on remote sensing and GIS. In this lecture, we have discussed the various key points along with remote sensing basics or remote sensing basic concept. We discuss remote sensing introduction, what is remote sensing, and remote sensing definition. In this lecture, we will discuss remote sensing works or how remote sensing satellite works. Now next, remote sensing and GIS class 1. What is remote sensing? Remote sensing made up of two words. First one is remote and second word is sensing. Now remote means which is far away, something which is far away, and sensing means getting information or getting data. Now, remote sensing is getting or collecting information from far away or without being contact with the object. It is known as remote sensing. Now, focus on this image. In this image, this is sun, pond, tree, and this building is our object. This is our sensors, and this is our receiving station, ground station or receiving stations. Now the sun is our energy source which is required for the remote sensing, because the sun releases a lot of electromagnetic spectrum. Electromagnetic spectrum means a lot of waves come from sun like gamma, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, visible rays, infrared, microwaves and radio waves. These are waves which are absorbed by our object and then reflected. Our satellite and sensor records these reflected waves and then send the recorded data to the receiving station. The receiving station process those data, then analyzing, then applying those data. Now, definition of remote sensing. Remote sensing is a technology of acquiring information about Earth's surface without actually being in contact with it. This is done by sensing and recording reflection or emitted energy and processing, analyzing, and applying that information. Remote sensing is a science and art of obtaining information about an object, area, or phenomena through the satellites. Next, according to the Lilson and Clifford, the science and art of obtaining an information about an object, area, phenomena like Earth's surface through the analysis of data acquired by device that is not in direct contact with the object, area, phenomena under the investigation. Next, the science and art of acquiring information about an object without entering in contact with it by sensing or recording the reflection or emitted energy and processing and analyzing and applying that information is remote sensing. Now next, remote sensing, how it works. Remote sensing process 7 steps. The working of remote sensing divided into 7 parts. First one is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now first one, energy source, that is A. This energy is provided by sun. We need an energy source for work on remote sensing, which is our sun, which will be illuminate our target and provide electromagnetic spectrum. Energy source A. The first requirement for a remote sensing is to have an energy source which illuminate or provide electromagnetic energy to the interest of target. In this step, the sun is our energy source, that is A. Sun illuminate our target and provide electromagnetic spectrum. Now next step. Next step is radiation and atmosphere. As the energy travels from its source to the target, it will come in contact with or interact with the atmosphere it passes through. This interaction may take place a second as the energy travels from the target to the sensor. This blue line is atmosphere. Sun is an energy source from which electromagnetic radiation emits. These radiation absorbed and reflected by our interest of target. These radiation passes through atmosphere to the our sensor or satellites. Next step, interaction with the target. This building is our interaction with the target, that is C. Once the energy makes its way to the target through the atmosphere, it interacts with the target depending upon the properties of both target and radiation. Our target here is this building C. Reflection and absorption depends on the property of the object, like reflection of water will be higher than building, as well as absorption of the building will be higher than water. Next step, recording our energy by the sensor, that is D. After the energy has been scattered by emitted from the target, we require a sensor remote not in contact with the target to collect or record the electromagnetic radiation. These are sensors which record the electromagnetic radiation. There are two types of sensor. First one is active sensor and second is passive sensor. To understand the sensor, we will understand in the next class. For now, passive sensor needs energy source like sun, and active sensor have own signal or own source for the remote sensing. Now you must have got clear what are energy sources, what are objects, and what are the sensor and how do they work. Now next step is transmission, reception and processing. The energy required by the sensor has to be transmitted often in electronic form to receive and processing section, where the data are produced into an image by hard copy and digital. Sensor has recorded everything and now send it to our ground station. This is our ground station or receiving station. In ground station, the E portion that receives the recorded data and processing the recorded data to create an image form of hard copy or digital copy. Now next step, interpretation and analysis. The proceed image is interpreted in two types, visually and digitally, to extract information about the target which was illuminated. Now we will discuss the portion F, that is analysis. The portion F give the portion E give the data as a form of image. This portion F analyze the data and extract the data information. Next step, application, that is G. The final element of remote sensing process is achieved when we apply the information we have been able to extract from the imagery about the target in order to better understand and reveal some new information. Now, G portion. This portion is applied to analyzed data, give us uh, its property or property of the object or information of the object. Now, in this remote sensing lecture, all the remote sensing basic concept have been covered. Thank you.